How are we all doing? It's been a minute. It's been a minute. We got some unfortunate news today. We got the Atlanta Hawks in the draft lottery. The Hawks have fell to 8. If you did not know, the Hawks had the Pelicans pick. We had the Pelicans and Bucks picks. We had the opportunity to go up in the draft. But it's fine. There's not a lot of teams that made the playoffs. I think only OKC and Atlanta are the only two teams that made the playoffs that had a lottery pick. So
Yes.
it's fine. We got my boy Colin Dunks on Twitter, and yeah, I'm pretty sure you do TikTok too, right? You do TikTok, you do YouTube.
I'm
You
on TikTok, on Twitter, a lot of everything. Big social
this is
media.
a guy. Oh my bad, I cut you off, bro.
You're good, you're good, you're good.
I was like, this is a guy I respect in the community. I think I seen your Twitter like maybe 5, 6 months ago, and then like I'm a big Cameron Boozer guy. I saw the Boozer love, and I said, hey, bro, that's enough for me. That's enough for me to get a follow. And I was like, I think I hit you up months ago. I was like, yo, like when the Hawks lottery odds come out, I was like, since I talk Hawks a lot on my channel, I was like, I gotta get bro on here, and we can just talk about the options. I was hoping, I mean, I was the options was I was hoping would have been like a top three option, and we could have just talked Boozer, DP versus AJ, but we're not here. We're about to talk. The Hawks got the eighth pick. What are some options that you think the Atlanta Hawks should go for in this slot?
Well, when it comes to the Hawks, you can kind of tell, not even kind of, you can tell that they're ready to be a playoff team. So they're not looking to rebuild. So one thing I think they'll be looking for is either a ready now player, someone who can contribute right away, so they could swing a little bit older, or a guy who is still capable of playing real minutes now, but still has a high upside. So um those are two big things that I think are going to factor into the Hawks decision. And in their range, you also have to consider the fit, with who's already on the roster. So,
Yeah.
Nickeil Alexander Walker, Jalen Johnson, um, those are by far the most important guys at this rate. They had the number one pick, Zachary Rizashe, um, literally a year and a half ago. And while I personally, I've made fun of him a little bit because it's
Oh,
funny.
this is not a Zachary Reaches Shay YouTube channel, so it's okay, bro. We can dog on him. It's okay.
Right, fair. But one thing I will say is I never he was never going to be number one pick candidate, or living up to the expectations, I should say. But I still think you can get a good player out of him, especially with having a guy like Jalen Johnson and an emerging Nikhil Alexander Walker, where both of those guys are playmaking scorers. You can use a guy like him as a complimentary guy. That's just going to depend entirely on his confidence as a shooter. So if he's gonna, actually shoot the ball when he's open, then he's valuable to this team. But otherwise, you're probably looking in a different direction. But I digress. When it comes to the Hawks in this year's draft, there's three names who I'm immediately looking at in that 8 range. You're looking at Kingston Flemings, um, Braden Berries. That's a big one. Adai Mara. That's a guy who I think would really be good. And those are right now the three big names that I think the Hawks should focus on. So Kingston Flemings, Braden Burries, and Adai Mara.
Now, I would say in the Hawks community, a lot of Atlanta Hawks fans have been. Are you big on Mikael Brown Jr. or no?
I am, but I don't think he's going to be available. I'll say
That's
that.
that's the sad part. And I thought about it, I was like, while we was talking, I it would have been nice if we can go through because we never know what these teams are gonna do every single year. I was like, it would have been nice to go through who we thought might be available, who might be in the range. I just did a mock draft with my friend before I even got on here. I took Mikkel at I had, and this is just right now. I think AJ is probably gonna go one, even though I'm more of a Boozer guy. But I think AJ's gonna go one. I think DP might go two to Utah. I think Boozer might go three. I have Caleb Wilson going four. Five, I think Keaton Wagler is probably gonna go to the Clippers. That makes sense to me. Brooklyn, I wouldn't be surprised if they took Acuff or the Kings. They just scream like
I
an Acuff team.
think
I,
so. Out of all those guys you've listed, the top 3 have a floor of the top 3. None of them are making out of it. Caleb Wilson is
Yeah,
essentially locked in at 4. When it comes to pick 5, that's where I think you can see either Kingston Flemings or, excuse me, Keaton Wagler, like
Wagler.
at 6, that's the Nets, right? They're a
Yeah.
lot more sheets pilled, so I really don't think Darius Acuff is who they're looking at, especially considering they
Okay.
have Nolan Traore and they have, Jaeger Demon. You're probably looking at a forward or at least a real, like, scorer at that point, so, um,
Right.
I think Mikal Brown still might be in play there because again, I mean, I know I just said that about Darius Acuff, but I think that's a guy that Jordy Fernandez might like. But also again, Kingston Flemings uh, is still in play there. I'd even say Yaxel.
You're
Yaxel might.
absolute you're absolutely right. I said I because when I think of Brooklyn Nets, I've been thinking of Brooklyn Nets that we've known for years to make just bad decisions and stuff like that. But we're just talking about a team that just threw Cameron Thomas out the window. They don't care. And I thought maybe Acuff could be the spark because Brooklyn. I know there's going to be some casual Brooklyn fans that be like, "Go Acuff, he literally fits the city vibe." Yeah, they are more sheets built. Now that I'm thinking about it. They probably do, yeah. So Mikal would probably go. Mikal or Kingston would go there, but then again, they have guards, and you said they might go forward, which might
I mean,
I don't
looking at
know.
the board, and also considering who the Nets actually are, we're looking at probably if they're going to go forward, Yaxel will be on the board. They have a center, so Alan Graves, Hannes Steinbach, Um, Jaden Quaintance even could be someone who could go high. And I'm just gonna have to throw Nate Ament in there just because there's just a gut feeling that's telling me Nate Ament's gonna go in the top 10 pretty easily, and we could be
Yeah.
looking closer to 5 than to 10.
So, but we're going along on a tangent.
Yeah.
But if Mikal was available for Atlanta, he would be an
Mhm.
option. He would
Yeah.
would he be the top of your options
So for
over
the
King?
Hawks, yeah, for the Hawks, in that range, number 1 priority is probably Mikal Brown. Number 2 is Kingston Flemings. And then Braden Burries, and then LeBaron Philon.
Hmm.
So that's the
I
priority.
have My priority list right now is Mikal Brown at 1, I have Kingston at 2, but those are interchangeable. If they went either one, I'm really not it's really 1A, 1B. I'm really not mad. I
Yeah,
have a Gay Mara at 3. I have
yeah,
Phylon at 4, then I have Berries. The only and you can tell me more about Berries because I've watched a couple Arizona games this season. My
mhm.
thing with Berry is would you say Berries is more a can Berries do you think Berries could be a shot creator in the next level? Like,
Uh, yes, but I think what you're gonna get out of him is a lot more like a level-headed Jalen Suggs, where he's very intense, very physical, and a defensive player first. I think that's what you're gonna end up getting out of Barry's. I don't know how well the offensive stuff will translate because he's really good in transition, and in the half court, he works really well too, but his shot is super slow, and that's kind of concerning to me. And not because it's not the most concerning because we've had plenty of guys who've had slow shots that've made it work. But when it comes to Burries, a little bit more hesitancy there. But that's one of the guys I'm just less concerned about.
that makes sense. Um, Tell me a little bit how you feel about Phylon, because I've seen some Hawks fans now they're going on a hard argument between Phylon versus can Phylon creep up? Why is Phylon not in the Mikael Brown and Kingston Fleming talks? Stuff like that. If you ask me, I think the Atlanta Hawks really need a guard that can do three things. I think the Hawks need a guard that can shot create, which they already have with CJ. But the problem with CJ and Nikel, they're not good passers. They're not good passers. So I need a
Wait,
guard that can also pass.
wait, what? What did you say? You said Mikhail's not a
CJ,
good
no, I just said CJ Nikhil,
friend? Oh, okay.
Nikhil Alexander Walker. Yeah. I'm not crazy. Trust me. I'm not crazy. So the fact that they can't do both on the lead guard, and then I need a guard that not See, the thing is, Trey Young could do those two, but then Trey Young was a liability defensively. We don't. The Atlanta Hawks, they've made it very clear that they don't want that in their guard spot. They've made it very clear. Auntie Salah and the GM has made it very clear they're taking best player available on the draft, regardless of the situation. I think obviously
Oh,
Mikhail
okay.
Fall. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
He's made it very clear that he's process driven and he's going to take the best player available every single time. It doesn't matter what the situation is, he's going to take the best player available.
And then
And
if that's the case, then I would definitely swing for Phylon. Phylon's my PG1 right now. Fun
oh
fact.
really? Oh
Yeah.
really? Tell me
Yeah.
about Phylon. Why you like Phylon?
Yeah. So I will say, like, full disclosure, my PG1 through 3 is very close, but I just favor Phylon a little bit more because last year as a freshman, he showed a lot defensively,
Yeah,
in terms of being being able to play in gaps, some decent POA stuff, and then the big struggle with him was like his shooting, not necessarily not even scoring, it was his shooting. And then this year he fixed all of that. Like the defensive stuff kind of, I don't want to say tanked, but it was like very net neutral to like kind of meh, whatever this year. But we
yeah,
already have a resume of him being a good positive defender at the guard position. And then he just improved on every asset or every facet of his offensive game. So he was scoring way better. He was shooting way better. That was the big one. He was still getting into the paint, getting wherever he wanted, getting whatever kind of shot that he wanted. And he was like a 50, 40, like 80 guy this season. So I think that alone speaks to like his quality as an offensive player. But the thing that makes me like not want him as like, high priority for the Hawks specifically is because he feels like he's a little bit redundant with Nikhil Alexander Walker.
yeah.
And so that's why I'd kind of prefer a guy like Mikal, who's like a high volume, 3-point shooter, while also being able to get in the paint and dish the ball. Um, but that kind of also comes with a bit of concerns. That's where you might lean Kingston, where you want more of a defensive look.
Yeah.
Honestly, it kind of depends on what the Hawks are looking for their identity. Are they more of a defensive team now, or are they still trying to run a strong offense?
I feel like they're trying to do a mix of everything, and that's the thing. I think they are leaning more towards defense. That's how we played towards the end of the season. We was uh I think the last 6 or 8 weeks of the season, the competition was much weaker. That's what the Atlanta Hawks went on that crazy run. They leaned more towards defense. They was like, I think top two was them and OKC in defensive turnovers, lead the offense. They literally was causing a bunch of that. They were trying to turn that into fast breaks because our half court scoring was the best with Jalen and stuff like that. So it was a lot of fast break running, and obviously in the playoffs that struggles because the game goes slower and slower and slower. And the Knicks really did a good job of neutralizing turnovers and stopping fast breaks. But so I think going into this draft, I think the Hawks are very, very big on looking for a guard that can do those things, play defense, score, and play
Mhm.
make. And then I think with that second pick in the 22nd, this is where I wanted to go to next. Even though I feel like they might address this need in free agency, which the free agency pool is kind of bleak. Definitely, if OKC retains Isaiah Hardestin in center and stuff like that, which they might. But
They
who
probably
knows what that they? What you think they do?
I think they do.
I do. I think they do as well. And so, I've seen a lot of Hawks fans put Isaiah Hardestin in a jersey already. And I'm saying, hey, he probably stays, brothers. He probably stays. But in the second for our second pick, which is the 23rd pick, I believe, right now.
Mhm.
Not right now. It's gonna stay like that. I have these are people that I want. I don't have it really ranked right now. And most of these players will not fall. I'm going to state this now. Most of these players are not will not fall. I have Allen Graves up here. Tyler Tanner would be nice if you don't take a guard initially. If you take a Daymar or something like that. Bennett Stirs, JQ, Jaden Quaintance, Daily Swain. Do you know any? And then I have Henry Vasar here, but I know defensively he isn't the greatest as a rim blocking center, and that's kind of redundant to Onyeka. They already have, but he's a 7 footer. And one thing you need to know about Atlanta Hawks fans, they are very obsessed with finding someone that's 7 foot. If they see someone that's 7 foot, they instantly say, "Oh yeah, we need him on the team." And then you find out that he's not even a good. He's not. He's not a great rim defender at all. But I know he can shoot the three. He fits Quinn Snyder's system, and Quinn loves bigs that can shoot, aka Jock Lando and Onyeka. So yeah, those are the people I have for that 23rd pick. I don't know if you recommend anyone. I was really big on Mo Crevis out of Arizona.
And then he went back.
went back, went back. I was really big on Duke's big Patrick Nabunka. Went back. I feel like the center class in this draft, other than the top,
Correct.
is it's so light. It's so light.
It is. Well, I mean, looking at who I have in that range, for the Hawks, let's say they do take a guard at 8. So we'll say anyone between Kingston, McHale, LeBaron, Wagler if he falls. They're taking a guard at that position. Excuse me. With at 23, I definitely think they're going to be looking big. That's like a high priority for them. So I have JQ around 23, 22. Um, that one's a little bit tricky for a variety of reasons. How is Atlanta's medical staff? Like, how well have they dealt with injuries?
Not well at all.
Not
Not well at all.
okay. Then maybe that's one you don't want to look at. Malachi Moreno, I think is in that range. That might be a little bit of a reach, but I think that would be okay at 23. Um, Ruben Chinyelu from Florida.
Okay.
I think like that also would be a bit of a reach. I think right now he's probably in the 40s range on most people's boards. I have him at 37 right now, but
Yeah.
23 again, that is a bit of a reach. If they wanted to trade back for that, maybe a couple of picks, gain some more second round assets going forward, and draft him at like 28 or something like that. I think that would probably be a good move because I mean Ruben Chinyelu was the National Defensive Player of the Year this year. He's about 6'10", 6'11". He'll probably measure about that because he looks pretty big. About maybe anywhere between 6'9" and a half and 6'10" and a half without shoes.
Yeah.
So he might not be 7 foot exactly, but he's bigger than Big O, better athlete, and definitely a better defender. So I think that's definitely someone that they'll want to look at.
But they're also big on just best player available, like I stated earlier,
Hmm.
which again they might just address that center position in free agency or in a trade of some sort. Definitely because I know they want to get rid of either Corey Kispert's contract. That's a net that's a negative. So you're going to have to give stuff away to get rid of that contract. But um if we're talking just best player available around the range, I named some of the people. I think Daily Swain doesn't probably fall that far.
I
I
got
want
Dalen in top 10, bro.
exactly. So I really don't think any, and then I don't think, even though they say they want best player available, they will not. There's no way. I think the Hawks double down on a guard. Well, depending on if they're the same type of guard prospects,
Yeah.
um, which a lot of these guards kind of do fit around the same type of prospect. Where do you have Kareem Lopez?
Um,
I don't know much about him.
Kareem Lopez is a guy who's really hard for me to rank. I have him at 35 right now, but I don't feel confident in having him that low. Like I know like a lot of ESPN mocks have him as a lottery pick, and then that's like I don't know if surprising is the right word, but it's like and I don't like disagree because I like Kareem Lopez a lot going into the season, but the defensive stuff has been pretty rough. I haven't watched as much at the end of the season, so I heard that he improved defensively, but I can't speak to that. So I haven't moved him a whole lot up, but the numbers also don't look as encouraging either. So defensively,
Okay. Enough about the Hawks. Is there any prospects in this draft that do you think people are sleeping on? Is there any prospects in this draft that you're super big on? And we can. This is enough about the Hawks, so we can talk big prospects. We can talk Boozer, all that. People aren't sleeping on Boozer, but you know what I'm
yeah,
saying. Do you have some of your just favorite prospects like Abuka? No, a couple people are like Abuka a lot.
yeah, I like Ibuka. Shout out to a Nigerian brother right there, but
That's my guy.
yes, sir, yeah, Okori is definitely in the running to make a big jump in the big board rankings. I've seen some people who have him top 10 already. No matter what, people are going to want to put him over Darius Acuff because Darius Acuff is the worst defender I've ever seen, but I'm not gonna get into that right now.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I actually like Trevon Brazil, from Arkansas. I think he's been slept on a lot as a prospect. Like, yeah, he's a fifth-year senior, but he's good. Like, he's legitimately good. He can play a role. Like, what, 6'10", 6'9" at worst.
Yeah.
Great athlete, can actually dribble the ball. You know, he's not gonna cross you up or anything, but he can handle the ball, drive. He can shoot now. Uh, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'm pretty sure he's, like, got a decent enough volume for 3 to be considered, like, I don't wanna say a threat, but for someone you'd actually have to close out on, you know? And, Ugonna Onyenso, from Virginia as a rim protector, you take him in the 40s, someone's gonna be real happy, I think. Looking through the list, Bruce Thornton is gonna play 10 years in the NBA.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's some guys that I think are kind of sleepers. You know, I don't feel like the strongest about them. Otherwise, I'd probably have them higher. But those are some guys I do have some positive feelings about.
Yeah, Trayvon Brazil, 100 possessions, 6.43 attempts last season in Arkansas. Um, you saw it.
How many did you say? Attempted?
6.4, 6.4, 100 possessions. So
Okay, yeah, that's pretty solid.
yeah, yeah. I'm really big on this draft. I was just really, I'm not gonna lie, I was extremely sad about the falling, but I still think you get some great guys. I think teams might reach on some people, not maybe not reach, but some teams might do some things that
Someone's
might surprise people. Someone's gonna take something crazy, and hopefully Mikael Brown Jr. falls because he is Mikael and Flemings. They have been my number one point guard for a while. I've been picking up more on Phylon. I like Phylon a lot. I watched him more in the tournament in a couple games. Definitely that game against Arkansas. I mean, yeah, against Arkansas that everyone's seen that game. That was probably
that was
what do you say?
crazy.
That was probably game of the year. Um,
But no, man. The one thing I was the most sad about was Pat Nagongba going back to school because he's like that was exactly who I wanted the Hawks to take.
oh
I'm
my god, he's so good.
You know, you got a legit rim protector who with good offensive feel, who at worst injury prone. And then you kind of just have to deal with that. But even on like on the lower end of like his player outcome, that's still a rim protector who's gonna get you decent possessions on offense. And at best, you got like Joel Embiid, second generation, you know. So
Yeah.
that's unfortunate, but it's not over. Next year is a new year, and he will be there.
Uh, my best case scenario for this year is the Atlanta Hawks first pick. We leave the draft with Mikal or Flemings, and then that second pick, if JQ, I know the medical staff, Emory, I know y'all don't do a good job, but if we can leave with JQ, I'm a happy man. If we don't, just take best player available, whoever that falls. Hopefully, it's I know a lot of franchises are becoming more sheets oriented, and they're just like picking up on things like. There's no way if Alan Graves is still available at 22, a player like that, I'm excited. I'm excited. You just take those type of players.
Just 'cause a
Last
lot. I don't think Alan Graves makes it past the Hornets at 14.
exactly my point. Do you like Morez Johnson?
Yes, I do.
Do you think Morez Johnson's best? I know he played the four in Michigan, but obviously Michigan and they had Yaxel was basically kind of playing out of position because Yaxel's going to play the four in the NBA for the most part as well. Do you think Morez can play the four in the NBA?
I think so, but I think that
Depending on
might
who he's with.
You said what?
I was gonna say it's depending on who he's with.
Yeah, exactly. Because yeah, the thing with like a double big lineup, which is what that was, is they're making a big comeback right now. Like a lot of teams are just running two big ass dudes, and they're just gonna figure it out from there. Like people are seeing the value of offensive rebounding and rebounding period. Like possession maxing is big right now in NBA spaces. So getting multiple guys who can get boards like that and who can just be physical on both ends of the floor, like it's in high demand right now. So that's why a guy like Morez Johnson is starting to get like real traction. And there's even still a chance he could be a lottery pick, but we'll see.
I did my mock draft. I drafted Morez Johnson to the Spurs at 19.
Yeah, that's where I have him on my board too at 19. So it kind of works out perfectly there.
If he gets with Wemby, I'm hyped. I'm hyped.
If he
Well,
gets with
brother, go ahead.
Oh, I said if he gets with Wemby, it's over.
Just I know you're an OKC fan. You told me that before we started recording. I'm so blessed y'all ain't win. OKC, the Warriors, just listen. That's like the win. That's like that does it all for me because I ain't gonna lie. As a guy that really, 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 really started loving basketball around 2013, 2014, that's when I really got into it, and then took another level of really like looking at stats and stuff for the last 3, 4 years. 2016, 2017, 2018, I stopped watching basketball. And because of what KD did to the sport. So with that being said, if OKC is doing it the right way, they're doing it the right way. But if they got a top pick,
It's
Adam
over.
Silver, yeah, it was over. It was over. God bless.
Like a parody,
Uh,
I'm glad they didn't get it.
for parody. All right, brother. Do you want to shout out any of your socials, anything that you got going on? TikTok, YouTube, whatever.
Yeah. Follow me on Twitter or X at the Colin Dunks, and on TikTok you can find me at By the Rim.
TikTok by the rim?
By the Rim, all one
Yeah.
word.
I think I'm about to support that right now. All right, brothers. I appreciate you for coming on the pod. I appreciate you for dropping what you think the Hawks should do or what you think most teams should do and just your favorite prospects at that. It was well overdue. You're always invited to come on the channel and talk basketball. I just like to talk basketball regardless of I'm more getting into the draft, but for the most part I've been like really I'm more like teams, what's going on in the NBA, because just college basketball for me has been very, very, very hard for me to watch. This season, I really enjoyed it because I knew we had a top pick, and I just enjoyed watching most games because there was a lot of good product that's going on. And next season, with all these players returning back, college basketball should be even more insane. So excited, I'm excited.
Yes, sir.
But appreciate you, brother, so much. And we are out.